Hey there, AI learners. So the other day I was thinking about big corporations and how AI and specifically agentic AI will impact them. And I've come to realize that there's actually a big thread. These corporations that have been the bedrock of the global economy, that have helped shape the world as we know it, are actually maybe going extinct. You can also see this in the average lifespan of the S&P 500, where over the last 60 years, the average lifespan of the biggest companies in the US went from 33 to 17 years approximately. What this means is that these large corporations are finding it harder and harder to adapt to a rapidly changing environment. And this environment is actively harmful to these larger players. They have layers of bureaucracy and decision making and tons of overhead that makes it hard for them to compete with new upstarts entering in the industries or in the markets that they were traditionally active in. So what I think will happen, and you can read this in more detail in the blog post listed in the description, is that a lot of these bigger corporations will actually turn out to be a whole bunch of smaller companies. And that for anything except infrastructure plays, there is no room for larger corporate structures anymore. The overhead is just too big. But you might be asking at this point, what does this have to do with AI or agentic AI? Well, I think that a lot of the business functions that are currently being done in-house in these large corporations can actually be outsourced. This is agentic outsourcing, where, for example, you have a mediocre marketing department with 30 FTEs on your payroll, but as a large company, it actually might make a lot more sense, and you might even get higher quality results if you hire an agentic AI company to do your marketing for you, to run all your marketing campaigns for you. And it is very easy with the new technologies that we have available, for example, large language models, but also agent architectures, which I will discuss in upcoming videos, to replicate entire workflows, automate them using just silicon. And since these agentic AI companies are building the same product for multiple clients, but with specific workflows, setting it up for one client will be a fraction of the cost that it would cost to have an entire 30 or 35 person marketing department on payroll for an entire year. Of course, we're not there yet. The quality of the output of these AI marketing agencies is not yet good enough, but technology is progressing rapidly, and sooner or later, this will be the new reality. I think that the combination of high quality software plus agentic AI will be the death of a lot of departments. And what this means is that a lot of big companies will realize that they're actually a bunch of smaller companies, and that it doesn't make a lot of sense to keep the same organizational structures that used to give them a competitive advantage. In fact, in my experience at least, the 80-20 rule definitely applies in the corporate world. I think that 20% of the people in a large company are usually responsible for 80% of the value creation. There is a lot of overhead. And that comes from having so many people on call. There is a lot of communication overhead to start with, but just also the organizational complexity of having to align hundreds or thousands of humans and get them to work on the same goal is very hard. It will be a lot easier, in fact, with agentic workflows, with agentic systems. So I don't intend to alarm you, but I do want to give you a wake-up call. A lot of the more mediocre marketing, finance, supply chain departments would be the first to go. So is there anything you can do about this? Well, yes, you need to learn how to leverage these agentic tools yourself, so that when the time comes, there are cuts being made, you'll be kept on board, because there still will need to be people liaising between the agentic AI companies and the strategy boards at your company. Another thing you can do is learn how to build these systems and join one of the companies building agentic AI. I do think, but this is based on my experience as a machine learning engineer, that a lot of these agentic systems that are task specific and that need to replicate a specific business function are better built by separate companies rather than having your company build them in-house. Anyway, I hope I've at least piqued your interest in Agentic AI and given you some of the reasons why I think this is such an important development. And as always, please like and subscribe for more content on Agentic AI.